Welcome to another edition of Project Natter. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and show your support for freedom of speech. In this video, we're going to take a look at Nigel Farage and how he's been highlighting the fact that illegal immigrants have been entering the UK every single day. They're coming across on boats, one after the other, and they're getting taxi serviced into the mainland by our border force. And joining me to discuss this story is Martin Costello. Welcome back, Martin. So we just seen recently, today we've seen a tweet from Nigel Farage showing that he was on the Kent coast again today, and he's there and he's bringing attention to the illegal immigration that's coming on a daily basis on boats. We saw in the last month of April, we exceeded over 400 illegal immigrants entered the UK. They're the ones that we know about. So Nigel Farage, the last time he went out, he got a knock on the door from the old Bill, telling him that he'd broken the social distancing rules and he must comply and he shouldn't be going out there. It wasn't essential travel. He's now defied the rules again and he's gone back to the coast of Kent, only to find more and more boats coming in and our border service there to taxi these illegal immigrants into the mainland and bring them into our country. What do you make of all this, Martin?
Well, I'm absolutely horrified the way that these people coming in are actually criminals. You know, they're not supposed to be here. And nothing's been done about it. We've heard time and time again. We had Boris saying back in 2019 August, and you know, we'll get on top of it. Anyone trying to come over, we'll just send back. And he continued to say this in his election campaign when he got re-elected. And you know, a couple of months on, 5 months on now, still nothing's happened. We've had Priti Patel said she's going to order a fresh crackdown. But, you know, we haven't even had a crackdown, so how can we have a fresh one? It just makes me wonder what's going on here, because it seems like the government are complicit with this, if I'm quite honest.
Yeah, something doesn't quite seem right, does it? I mean, we've got a huge problem, a huge problem. And really, my personal opinion, I reckon that we should have the Navy out there. It's not like we're in any war situation at the moment, is it? So we should have a few Navy ships out there stopping these boats from coming across. You know, like you always say, Martin, you've always said immigration is a positive thing, but mass immigration is devastating. And, you know, and the thing is, we need to see illegal immigration to this country erased because we don't know who these people are. We don't know where they've come from. You know, if they're refugees from war zones, they could have committed war crimes.
Yeah.
You know, you could have the rapists coming in from his local village. You don't know who these people are, what they're capable of. They could be terrorists. They could be anybody. And it needs to be stopped for the safety of our nation. But then we've got left-wing extremist charity groups that are trying to lobby the government into giving safe passage to these boats. One woman in particular caught my eye in the papers a couple of weeks ago. Was someone called Bella Sankey. So she's a director of a charity called Detention Action, and she's been lobbying the government to try and get safe passage to create a safe route for them to come over into the country. What do you reckon, Ryan?
Well, I think we should change the name for Action and give her detention, because I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. You know, they're basically helping these people coming in, these criminal gangs, and they should be ashamed of themselves. If people want to live in this country, they should go through the same channels as everyone else. But, you know, what shocks me is that we live on an island and we still can't seem to defend it. You know, we got VE Day coming up, remembering all those who fought for our country, and they'd be horrified if they saw the invasion coming the other way. And it's just absolutely shocking that that I honestly believe that governments could be complicit in this, because they could have easily stamped it out by now. I've personally spoke to a border guard myself, and they basically got their hands tied. They all want to take them back, but they can't do. They're not allowed to. They got to go pick them up and bring them back in so they can be processed. And only 5% get returned back to France. That is ridiculous. They know that as soon as they get on that dinghy, they get picked up by our ships, they know they're sorted for life more than likely. And that is shocking. And that does not send out a strong message. That encourages these people to risk their lives. It's irresponsible. It has to stop now.
Well, it is, and it's also it's very irresponsible because, like I just said, we don't know who these people are. We don't know what they're capable of. You know, we could be letting in potential rapists, any type of criminal, not just a rapist. But I say that because a lot of these left-wing feminist groups are calling for these refugees to come in, and we've seen images online ourselves of certain places and certain cultures where women aren't treated fairly, and then they get denosed. I've seen images of women walking around with their noses missing, and potentially we could be letting these sort of people into our country to walk and roam our streets. We don't know who they are. This BS and this political correctness needs to stop, and we need to get a serious border sorted out and controlled, and make sure that nobody is coming in illegally. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't make sense, does it? Bridget Patel, she's said now quite a few times that she's going to stamp it out, but it just keeps on going on. And Nigel Farage, good on him. He keeps pointing it out and showing that there is a problem. Because if it wasn't for Nigel Farage going up there highlighting this issue, highlighting this problem, you know, you'd find the odd story in the back of the newspaper. You know, this wouldn't be making headlines. So without him, we wouldn't be talking about this now. We wouldn't really be brought to anyone's attention, would it?
Wow, you know, I think it's been going for so long now. It seems to be like a taboo subject, doesn't it? We're not allowed to talk about it because as soon as we talk about things like this, you get the old racist card thrown at you, sort of thing, which is absolutely disgusting to throw words like that around. You know, we should be live in safety, and when there's like over 1 million illegal immigrants in this country, that's over illegal criminals, because they are criminals, because they're not allowed to live here. That is really concerning. And people can think, oh yeah, well, at least they're in safety now. But these sort of people are used as slave labor to drive down our wages. And then they're not accountable. They're not paying any tax or anything, and they're putting a burden on our NHS and our general infrastructure. You know, some are driving cars around, they can't be insured or anything because they're not legally allowed to be here. So if they had a bump with you, they'd be the first probably to drive off. You know, we've got to think about the practicality of this too. It really needs to stamping down on now. To think that there's over 1 million is just beggars belief when you think about all those people who shed blood for our country. It is so insulting.
Well, it is. It's just ridiculous. And like I said, we're not at war, so we should have our Navy, should be out keeping them busy, get the young recruits out there, grabbing the boats, tow them back, send them back to France, speed them out, off you go, see you later. Even put the paras, you know, let's make use of them. Stick the paratroopers on the beaches. They can set up camp. They come in, bang, they're there. They can open fire, a couple of warning shots. So they do. If you try to go into Turkey, you try to go into Iran, and they've got their border forces. We've seen images. They fire a few warning shots. They let you know you ain't welcome. You ain't coming here, right? So we need to take a harder stance on our borders. Make sure that these people are not entering illegal. It really winds me up when you think how soft and how weak this government is. You know, like we voted them in obviously because we wanted Brexit, but you know, practically you need a seriously hard government because it just ain't happening, man. It just isn't happening. We keep hearing time and time again. We heard it with Theresa May, and before that we heard it with David Cameron, and you know, and the Tories of all parties. You'd expect this behaviour from, you know, far left parties like the Labour Party or the Liberal Democrats or the Greens, but not the Conservatives.
No.
Hopefully Nigel Farage gets his act together and gets the old Reform Party going, and yeah, it takes. I reckon now's a good time to launch it. What do you reckon?
Well, something's got to be done because we can't take this government seriously anymore. Once again, they've let us down. We lent them our votes in the faith that they would sort things like this out, because we've been talking about this for 20 odd years now, this situation, and nothing's changed. You know, people aren't going to put up with it much longer. And that's why in America, obviously, they had a big issue with illegal immigrants coming in from south of the borders. They built Trump promised to build a wall, and now he's doing it. And the shocking thing is, we've got a great big moat round us, and we still can't even protect our borders. It's so insulting. It's got to stop. And if we continue to let these people come in, it's only going to be a burden on our society. And another thing now, with all this COVID thing going on, there's going to be, well, we've heard about it today, a mass recession. There's going to be a lot of people out of work, a lot of people claiming benefits, and there's going to be well over 1 million who will not be able to claim these things. What are they going to do? And what about all these migrants who are legally here? You know, we've had, I think, over I don't know what the amount is. There's some ridiculous figure, millions and millions in the last 10 years. Suddenly, they're all going to be out of work as well. It's going to put a huge burden on our country. So the chickens are going to come home to roost soon, I'm afraid.
Well, only for people like me and yourself. You know, obviously it doesn't affect the likes of the Labour Party or any other party, really. They all seem to be very pro-migration, whether that be illegal or legal. I just think hopefully Nigel Farage gets a reform party together and we can start really putting pressure on the government again to take action, because it only seems that once they get a bit of pressure from Nigel Farage, they don't seem to do anything, do they? Otherwise, anyway, Martin, thanks for coming on, mate. I just wanted to bring it up because this was it's just annoying. I keep reading about it in the paper. You keep reading about COVID-19, and then we've got all these illegal immigrants coming in every day. It's a serious issue. It needs to be highlighted. To the viewers, if you're watching, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to comment below. Let us know what you think about the current situation. You know, what you think should be done, and how we should go about it. Thanks again, Martin.
No worries. Take it easy.